Hey, what is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Alliance War 101 series that I have been doing lately. And today is episode 2, where I want to talk all about war offense, and specifically the best teams that I can recommend with confidence to build this time in patch 5.3. Now, if you're watching some months down the road, maybe some of these won't be as strong, but I suspect that they probably will remain good for some time in the future, and in some cases might actually improve if we get some new characters for them. So I have 6 teams specifically that I want to go over. We won't be addressing hybrids much here. Really, this will happen in a separate video that'll be coming all about war hybrid teams and some of the best characters to use in those. But for now, I hope that some of this helps you guys think about teams that you might want to build for your own war offense roster, as these are some of the best that work for me as well. So without further ado, let's get this show started. So coming in at number 6, and I know that this is, probably we're going from oldest to newest in this case, I think, and I want to talk about the Black Order. Now, as you guys know, they're kind of more on the down in Arena right now because of all the hybrids coming out and the characters Silver Surfer and Kestrel and all of these characters, but Black Order is still one of the strongest war offense teams in the game. In my opinion, I'm pretty sure they can kill just about everyone in war offense, including themselves, with really high punch-ups. They're very, very strong, and of course, unfortunately, Thanos is missing from this page because he's technically not a Black Order member, but he's there, and this is one of the best teams. You know, I have this, you know, I don't expect that newer mid-game players coming up are going to have this team to any, as high now as I do. But, you know, even still at tier 12, tier 13, whatever you want to take them to, you know, they have really large punch-up potentials. Now, you don't, if you're using them specifically for war offense, you actually don't need as many T4s as I do. I have them all pretty much maxed out. But this is because I was using them in, like, every place in the game for a very long time. You know, they were good for almost come on like a full year, but just under a year, I would say, and they're still really, really strong in the war offense capacity. Now, I'm not going to really go over each and every one's kit because there's a lot there, but in terms of T4s for Alliance War offense, you actually don't need that many. You know, for Ebony Maw, for example, I think that for war offense, the biggest thing here is probably the Force Transfusion, you know, because that gives more speed bar for the Black Order and Thanos himself, and reduces turn bar on everyone else. You could get the special, but honestly, I'm not sure you need the defense up for 2 turns anymore. And I realize my head's in the way. This always happens when I'm doing T4 stuff because of the position of my webcam, so I'm going to shift that back anyways, just in case that's relevant. But yeah, you don't really need to have the defense up for 2 turns when you kill them so quickly. The most important thing, I think, actually is Thanos, and making sure that Thanos is the big one, because he's going to be doing the biggest chunk of the damage. Now, most of these, other than Cull Obsidian, are farmable. You know, I guess you could say legendary characters are farmable. So Ebony Maw is unlocked through Inhumans, including Black Bolt that you need. Proxima is in Doom 2.9. Yep, that's right, I remember that. And Corvus Glaive is farmable through the Arena Store. Unfortunately, Cull Obsidian is at the 2% premium orbs at this point in time. So Thanos is an important, obviously the important part. He's going empowered, he's really bullying everyone, and I'm not going to show him here, but you do want more T4s if you have the full team together with Thanos because of the extra abilities that he gets on his empowered form. So very, 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 very strong team. This is my number 6 only because I'm going from oldest to newest, because I think that some of the more newer ones are going to continue to be more relevant for a little bit longer. But Black Order, still a very, very solid team. One of my best teams in Alliance War. Now, coming in at number 5 is the Sinister Six with Doc Ock. Now, I know that this is a war team, not necessarily a war offense team, but it can also be used on the war defense, but I do want to give them an honorable mention here. I do kind of go back and forth between using them on the defense and the offense. It really depends on what other characters, what other teams I want to pull off of my bench, but I do use them quite frequently, or I used to use them quite frequently on the offense, so I do want to mention this. So as long as you're having Doc Ock, this isn't really something that I would recommend building unless you have Doc Ock, but But if you do, this is a very, very solid team. And of course, the main 5 members are the ones here up across the top. But I do actually think that in the near future, we're going to see some additional chargeable Sinister Six. I hope, fingers crossed, you know, because I do want to see more members of the team come to this. And I think that with Swarm and Electro being the only 2 chargeables, I think either they need to rework some of these characters to give them charges, or they just need to bring out 2 more characters, maybe 1 for the offense, 1 for the defense, and then we can decide, kind of like Fantastic Four, how they work with Namor and She-Hulk. But yeah, Doc Ock, obviously the bread and butter here, you know, he is the main one. You need to make sure that he's, you know, worked on as much as you can. Don't need all of these T4s necessarily, but you definitely need, if you're using on war, you do need here the passive, and you do need the special, because that's going to allow you to get more charges, but also it gives rank 7, if you're not using Shocker, which I don't recommend anyways, it gives Shocker the level 7 special, which gives offense up for 2 turns to all the Sinister Six allies. So this is really important to have, which is kind of why you need the T4s in the special for Doc Ock. Now beyond this, you know, they are a very, very good team. On offense, I have killed Black Order. I've punched up like 150 to 200k against Black Order, believe it or not. The reason why I recently moved them actually from my war offense field to the defense is because I've started to see people use Black Order on the defense a lot less, at least in my own wars. If you're still seeing them on the defense, then the Sinister Six are actually a very solid counter to the Black Order, but only in war, so war offense, do keep that in mind. And that's because Electro's Chain Lightning is very, very strong. So in war, this clears all positive effects on the primary target and clear 2 positive effects on each secondary target. So this is a lot of extra positive effect clearing. Also gets a ton of extra focus for this attack, can't be counterattacked, and it also applies offense down for 1 to 2 turns, depending on if you have the T4s or not. So Electro, a very solid character for the war offense. You can't have a team with the Sinister Six offense without her, and she is farmable in the Blitz store. Very easy character to get to 7-star, so very nice. I really wish I could put some more gear into her, because I really love this team. But they do counter a lot of other teams. You can beat Mercs with this. You can actually beat Marauders with this, although I don't recommend it necessarily unless you're punching down, because I have timed out actually against Emma Frost. So this can be an issue sometimes, but they do counter a wide range of existing teams on the war defense. So a very, very solid war offense team here. Sinister Six with Doc Ock. Is going to be the Skilletary team. Now, I have recently done a video about them, which you can find on my channel. Wasn't too long ago when that came out. But I think as far as war offense teams go, I think for me, this is pretty good. This is definitely in the top 5 for sure. I don't think there's much to question about that, at least as a full team. And they are quite strong. The rework has really helped them out here, especially with the addition of Black Widow to the team. That makes it so much more reliable to beat the Marauders. It's very easy now. If you watch any of my videos from back in, I think it was January, or whenever I tried to, I put up all the T4s on these characters, and I still couldn't manage to win. But now it is a lot easier to use them to beat teams. I think that they're best equipped to beat teams like the Marauders and the Mercs. You know, the more and more people are building these, but yeah, they are definitely helping you, giving another team to beat these teams. I don't think that you're going to be wanting to use them against teams like Black Order if you come across them. I don't think that's going to work. I've not personally tried it myself, but I just want to... I want to assume that that's probably not going to work, so I wouldn't recommend trying that. But regardless, this is a team that's really seen a lot of improvement lately, mainly with the addition of Black Widow, but also Merc Soldier actually got quite a bit of an improvement on his passive here with the T4s, an additional 40% damage and 50% max health in war for the whole team. So that's quite substantial. I would not really use Killmonger, though. I think Killmonger is still probably better suited in that Taskmaster Merc defense team there. Even though they might have some more counters, I don't think you really need it. And it's unfortunate because I think I picked up the T4s here on the special. But I mean, this is still usable technically, I guess, on the war defense that I'm using. But hey, I think the better version of it, unfortunately, is with Black Widow, which does kind of rip apart the Wave 1 Avengers a little bit there. But yeah, if you are looking for another solid war offense team, Skilletary is that one. And if you're looking for more information on Skilletary specifically, then watch that video of mine on Skilletary. Now, coming in at number 3, again, another team that's not necessarily, actually doesn't have any war buffs for that matter, is the Astonishing X-Men. And this is some of them, we're getting to more of the more recent teams that are coming out to the game, and I think that this is worth talking about here. So Astonishing X-Men are a very, very solid team here, because not only do they also counter as Guardians, you know, alongside other teams like the Symbiotes, because Jubilee does get speed bar for her and the whole team, you know, where right here, on enemy death, fill all Astonishing X-Men's allies speed bar by 25%. So when you're killing characters like Greg, you know, you really take advantage of that, and you're filling the speed bar for the rest of the team. You know, they're a very solid team with good sustain. Beast can really keep this whole team alive, and there's a lot of debuffs too with Iceman, with slow. Kitty Pryde can stun. Kitty Pryde can disrupt. Jubilee can stun, you know, and blind. You know, there's a lot of things going out, and Bishop obviously being the main damage dealer, and Beast can flip buffs as well in his basic. So there's a lot of buffs, debuffs, and just sustain going around, that this is a very solid team to worth investing in. I would probably keep this on the offense rather than the defense, because defensively they do have a little bit more counters on the way of X-Force, and characters with heal block or ability block is a good way to beat them as well. So I would save them for the offense if you are building them up for, let's say, Doom Raid, or just in general as they become more farmable, that people will be investing in this a little bit more. Now, I know that Jubilee is a legendary, and as of this video, she's only had her first pass, but when people get her on their second pass, I think more people will be building this team, and definitely a team that I recommend using on the war offense. So there we are, Astonishing X-Men. Now, coming in at number 2, this was a toss-up. The top 2, I really had a hard time deciding on this one, but I'm going to be giving it to XFactor because they're not a full team yet. So this kind of falls within the realm of hybrids, I suppose, because there's 4, and you're going to be using 4+1. But there are a lot of 5th spot characters that could take this up. They are a very, very, very strong war offense team. They have a lot of stats. I forget who actually has it. There we go. So on war offense, Shatterstar gives 35% damage to XFactor allies. That's a whopping ton of damage there, on top of all of the stuff they already do. So the Dad Bros, Shatterstar, and Longshot, very, very strong, of course. But yeah, I don't know. No, Longshot doesn't have anything. So it's just on Shatterstar. And then, of course, Multiple Man on his passive, I'm pretty sure has a war offense stuff as well. So not to mention his dupes. He has way more dupes. When you're using him, he also gives resistance to his allies, and then on the death of any dupe, I really need to get this T4 actually, heal for 5% of this character's max health, and then an additional 15% resistance on war offense as well. So that would be bumping it up to 30%. But the addition of Multiple Man and Polaris to the team for war offense just makes it even more crazy. XFactor just has no problems punching up like 200k plus on Marauders, because Marauders really suck at killing lots of enemies, and Multiple Man just makes this really bad for them. And they can beat tons of other teams as well, because with the turn bar between Shatterstar and Longshot, and everyone else really, Polaris also adds to that, you know, the turn bar just really gets out of hand with the crits, and turn bar coming and going, and they're taking so many turns. I don't know if does Polaris actually have a war offense. Yeah, she does have a little bit. So she gains max health, they gain max health, there's the barrier. I forgot about all this, to be honest. So there's a lot of buffs here for the team on war offense. If you put the T4s in, there's even more max barrier. It's pretty bonkers. So yeah, very, very solid team. What characters that I might recommend using in the 5th spot? You could use characters like Namor. I've actually used this quite frequently. XFactor Namor against Marauders, and I've seen punch-ups to 200, 250k. This is pretty crazy. Silver Surfer, because he's a hero cosmic character, and he does get synergy with cosmic characters with Shatterstar and Longshot are. Kestrel, also a hero cosmic character if you wanted to use her there. You know, there's quite a lot of potential here for 5th members that really isn't all that wrong. You could use Squirrel Girl. They don't have a clan, so that's kind of one of their weaknesses. But there's a lot of different characters that you could plop down in this 5th slot, and this would make them really good at taking out different teams. So another very, very strong war offense team. Hopefully that they become farmable very soon, because this is one that you're going to want to watch out for. And finally, we get to the end of the list here with number 1, and I have to say, it still is going to be Shadowland. Shadowland is still somewhat newer. I mean, they were patched 5.1 one. I'm trying to forget I kind of remember my numbers here, with the addition of White Tiger and Moon Knight, and you know, they were very strong, and this rework was really, really good. Now, unfortunately for Daredevil and Elektra, you know, they both required kind of a bit more T-Force to be usable in this team. You need the special and the passive, both really important to the Shadowland text. And that was kind of dumb. I didn't like that. But as far as their punch-up potential against other characters, this is really good. The Night Nurse rework, again, kind of required a lot of T-Force here, but she's a very, very solid character, and she really sustains this team incredibly well. Night Nurse is also usable in other places like Dark Dimension City Lane, and the Doom Raid skill lane as well. So, you know, she has a lot of places that can be used. But White Tiger and Moon Knight, very, very solid characters. This allows you to really kill Marauders with ease because of the way that, I believe it's on their passive. Is it the passive? Or is it the no, it's on the basic, sorry. When this character, it's this part. When forced to attack an ally, this character deals less damage to Shadowland characters. So anytime you get mind controlled or anything like that, whether it's typically going to be from Emma Frost or Mystique, but other characters that have that, like Loki as well, could trigger this. And all of the characters has this text. So when they hit each other, it does practically nothing, which makes it really easy to really just plow through them. But yeah, White Tiger and Moon Knight are the kind of main heavy hitters of this team. But if you do have really good red stars on some of the other characters, you know, I would at least take them to gear tier 12, but I would focus more on stats and gear for White Tiger, Moon Knight, and Night Nurse, because I think that they're the better characters of the team. But this team is very good. They can beat Marauders Doom variants, they can beat Doc Ock teams, they can beat Mercs, they can even beat Black Order under the right circumstances. So I think as far as war defense teams, and you know, I'm not going to talk about them beating Heroes for Hire because as of me recording this video, they haven't been released in full. So I don't know, you know, they might be able to, but I don't have any confidence or experience in doing any of this. So I'm not going to talk about Heroes for Hire in this video, but still a very, very good war offense team that can basically clear, I think, just about every team in the game at this point. So yeah, Shadowlands, very good team. Unfortunately, White Tiger and Moon Knight aren't farmable, but again, hopefully they will be soon, but probably after XFactor. So, you know, that's the end of my top war offense team video here, guys, and I really hope that some of this was helpful in giving you guys an idea of who to invest in and who you're really going to get your best bang for your buck, because some of these older teams, you know, that I didn't mention, in Humans, Uncanny X-Men, and there's probably other Supernatural, Power Armor, these things, you know, they're not gonna be doing so hot in comparison to these ones that I mentioned in this video. So if you are deciding on who to use your resources on, I would definitely consider, you know, one or many of the teams in this list, because that's really going to help propel your war offense gameplay. So I hope that this helped. That's the end of the video, guys, and if this was helpful, please smash that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, until next time, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Boylon signing out.